You know, it feels like lately there hasn't been a lot of good news when it comes to Magic, and specifically Magic Arena. But today that changes. Everybody in the good news hole, let's go! Let's go! I'm not getting any smaller. The illusion has been broken. Shut it all down! Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. Don't be afraid. We're safe. We're safe inside the good news hole. So cozy up, because I got the goodest of newsest for you today. Today. That's like tonight and today shoved together. I'm coining new words here. I'm just stumbling over my absolute excitement. This is actually really good news, in all honesty. They are making significant changes in a good direction to Arena this time, specifically in regards to the Mastery Pass and also performance issues. So this update was just released like an hour or two ago. This is the hot, freshest good news. We only got the hottest news in the good news hole. That's a really good name. I'm gonna change my channel to the good news hole, and then I'm rarely gonna upload because life is pain and so. Wait, no, focus. You know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna read the update for you guys, and I'm gonna give you my information in there along with it, my thoughts, all my goodness. So the developer update Core Set 2020. Performance issues, hotfix scheduled for July 10th, 2019. Oh, that's another part of the lovely news here, my friends. And that is that it's already happened. By the time you see this video, they've already made the changes. I have logged into Arena already and seen the changes. And my friends, they are good ones. So, performance issues. We've been working hard on a number of fixes to address the performance issues players have been experiencing since the release of Core Set 2020. This release is scheduled to go live tonight, so keep an eye on our status page for the latest information on maintenance times. If you continue to experience any performance issues after the update's live, please reach out, and then just some contact information, not terribly important. The Mastery System updates. As much as I care about the performance system updates, obviously I want the game to perform properly, but that's a base minimum. For those of you who weren't 100% up to speed, the Mastery System is something they just introduced within the last week, roughly, and it did not go over well. It went over like a ton. It flew over like a ton of bricks, all right? So people were very unhappy because you used to be able to play as much as you wanted on one particular day to net your wins, and they changed it to a point where you would need to be logging in every day or you would leave experience on the table. Now, the system we're looking at is kind of a mix of the two, but after looking everything over, I definitely consider this to be excellent news. So, Mastery System updates. The Mastery System is going to be updated to better balance daily versus weekly play, which is something we've all been clamoring for. So number 1 point, weekly win rewards are back. For your first 15 wins of the week, you will get 250 experience per win. Number 2, XP will be removed from daily wins. They'll still award gold and individual card rewards. Quests will still give out XP, but we're lowering it to 500 per quest. The amount of available XP has increased overall, with the difference being earned through weekly wins. And then number 4, through events and codes, there will still be another 15 plus levels of XP players can earn over the course of a set. So basically what's going on is before you could get 15 wins over the course of a week, and those would count towards getting you booster packs. Now, instead of getting a booster pack at every interval of 5, so 5, 10, 15 was when you would get a booster pack, you are now getting 250 experience points for every win you clock in a given weekly period for up to 15 of those wins. After 15 wins, you don't get anything anymore. But the good news is you don't have to log in every day for this. You can log in right now after seeing this video if you want to and play full 15 wins and get all of that experience. Now, they did decrease the quest reward experience from 800 to 500 experience points, which is a big difference. But when you do the math, before how it worked was if you were logging in every day, you could get up to 1,000 experience a day, which equals 7,000 experience over the course of a week. Now that would only be if you logged in every day, because you had to clock 3 wins every day to get 1,000 experience a day. Otherwise, you would end up with less than 7,000 experience a week. With this new system, you get 500 experience a go for each of your quests. And if you get 7 quests across the week, you'll get 3,500 experience for that. And if you get all of your wins, that will contribute another 3,750. So you actually are able to get 250 more experience points a week through this revised system. But more importantly, it frees you up to play less frequently, which is very important, obviously. Having to log in every day was a massive problem for me. Honestly, that was one of the biggest issues I took with the changes that they were making. So this new system allows for you to have a more relaxed pace. You can log in basically every 3 days and take care of your quests, and then you won't end up behind at all. So basically it's going to take like 2 or 3, it's going to take 3 logins a week essentially to maximize Arena. But you don't even have to maximize it technically, which is nice as well. You have the choice. So there's upcoming change in terms of there'll be Chronicle events that give you 1,000 experience per event. So there's 5,000 XP total across all 5 events, which leads me to believe that they're going to be giving at least 10 levels worth of experience through experience codes. Now, I don't know how long these codes last for, and there is a tight margin when it comes to your levels. And I'll talk about that when I get a little further into the article here. But it says once these changes go live, all players will begin at 0 out of 15 weekly wins, regardless of daily win rewards they've already received. So once this goes into effect, which as I said, it already has, basically you can go log in today and have your 15 weekly wins. So ready to go. All quests, including those in progress, will reward 500 experience points. So any quests you had left over before this change, unfortunately, will have their rewards decreased by 300 experience a shot. That is a fairly minor thing, but it could still be an annoyance for some people. Players will keep any experience they've previously earned from daily wins and or quests. We're not retroactively lowering the amount of XP you've earned. This is a very wise decision on their part. Can you imagine how angry you would be if they changed the system and went, oh, by the way, we're going to take experience away from you. We would all go running under the good news hole. We'll stay here for now. All right. So it says, we hope this addresses the major concern we've seen from players feeling punished if you don't play Magic Arena every day. Yes, and in all honesty, they knew that you would have to do this. When you look at the numbers they crunch and tell us what they didn't tell us in the first place, you can see it's kind of ugly. So they said, let's look at these changes in practice. If you complete your quest and earn all your weekly wins, you'll be able to reach level 67 by the end of the set, even if you only play once a week, before any codes or events. Now with the extra 15, they're pretty much going, look, we can get you above the 72 mark, not too roughly. Previously, you'd only be able to reach level 32. So they admit that under their old system, you'd only be able to get to level 32 if you logged in once a week, and that's brutal. That's brutal. Now, it continues. If you play more than once per week, you'll be able to reach at least level 74 by the end of a set before any codes or event. Previously, the minimum level you could expect to reach was 46. So you can see from these numbers that there is a massive increase. They've got a little like progression chart that I will throw up here on the screen, showing you that if you play 3 times a week, your expected level can be level 94. I don't know exactly how they got the level 94 while excluding codes and event rewards, because I'll be honest, I sat down and I did some number crunching, and from the number crunching that I did, based on basically the information that I used was the release of the next upcoming archery set, which comes out on October 4th, and then the January release, which should happen somewhere around January 25th. And with those numbers, the most levels that I saw you could progress was actually 89. So I don't know how they got this 94. 89 is the number that I came up with. Now, once you factor in the 15 plus extra levels, even with 89, you can get to level 100 or above without having to spend any more money, which is important to me, because if you're going to buy the Mastery Pass, also having to spend more money is a really feel-bad scenario. So they're going to talk actually about the buying levels thing and how they're going to keep it there. It's like they're saying they're removing it, but they're not really removing it, they're relocating it? I don't know. Now it says, depending on the days you played and the number of quests available, your level prior to these changes could vary dramatically. But regardless, the new system should be better for everyone. I agree, this new system is an improvement. For those of you who play more regularly, the difference isn't as drastic, but you do end up with a higher expected level overall, which is very nice, because the first model was too greedy. It was too greedy. So what's next? These changes are not about the endpoint for Mastery Pass. There are a number of other changes we're talking about for the future. Number 1, as previously announced, we will remove the level purchase button at the end of this month. After hearing player feedback, we're looking at ways to let people who want to purchase levels still do so somewhere, but it'll be surfaced in a natural and not in-your-face way. Now, I feel like in the previous article, they said we don't want the majority of players buying levels, so as a result, we're going to remove that from the game. They didn't make it sound like we're going to remove a button from the game. So this to me feels a little skeezy, but if we're going to be genuinely honest at this point, there's no way Wizards of the Coast isn't going to have the ability to buy levels in the game. They know some people will pay them the money and they'll happily take the money. So if it's not in your face and people have the opportunity to get to level 100 for free, either whether they're a free player or somebody who's paid for this pass, my concerns about them selling levels are far lessened because it's no longer you're forced to. It's just, here you go. We're gonna let you pay more to get ahead. It is what it is. Number 2, for the next set, Archery, we're thinking about a few larger changes to make it easier for players to reach the maximum level, such as catch-up modifiers. These ideas will evolve based on how players progress through the first set mastery. I like this idea, honestly. I like this a lot more than the previous one. I can tell because that's the first one that they've brought up that it's more important for them to focus on selling us levels, but I do like the fact that they're also looking at catch-up modifiers. So if you're way behind, it can be like, okay, we're going to magnify the amount of experience that you get, but at the same time, I don't know how that's going to work out because then if people are going to be playing less frequently, Wizards of the Coast may not like that, so I don't know if they're actually going to institute that. After that, they talk about the events, and this is called Chronicles and More. A new set of Chronicle events will start up at the end of this month and will contribute to set mastery by offering an extra 1,000 XP per week of rewards, along with other goodies. We've also taken learnings from the War of the Spark Chronicles event that will be applied to new Chronicles. In particular, the maximum wins needed and event length, which will both be shorter. Okay, so I'm on board with the maximum wins needed being shorter. I don't know about the event length. We'll have to see how that plays out. I think the previous Planeswalker events were about a week long, and you definitely needed too many wins for ones like Momir, where it was just so random and awful. Honestly, that was terrible. So I'm glad they're going to be requiring less wins. They made that change later on in the series of tournaments the first time around, and it made a big difference. So the idea of events, they better be free to play. If these events cost any kind of entry fee, then I am going to be kind of annoyed with it, depending on what the entry fee is in terms of gold, or, well, I mean, they won't just make it gems. They wouldn't be that crazy. But yeah, these events that can give you experience, they need to be free, genuinely. You need to make sure those are free. Now, in September, we'll have another series of end-of-season events that will reward XP. More details as we get closer to those. But this will be part of the end-of-season catch-up in lieu of larger changes we're considering for Archery. So it looks like we may have more experience-giving tournaments in this particular season than we will in the next as they make tweaks. Now, it says, lastly, if you haven't already, redeem the codes Level Up and Brought Back for an additional 4,000 experience points. Between these codes and the weekly wins returning, there's a lot of extra experience available. And then it says, keep the feedback coming. You're helping us to make the game better in a major way. Now, this is a very large indicator to us as players that we need to continue to be very vocal when it comes to complaints. Now, people will come by my channel sometimes and complain about what I'm doing. They'll just be like, oh, all you do is talk about the negative. But the thing is I bring up these issues because I want to see them change. I'm not just bringing them up for the sake of, oh, here, I want to complain. I know that if you're not vocal about these things, they won't change. So I'm glad that we made enough of an impact on Wizards that they walked this system back because it really was too much. So this is nice. It's nice to actually have some good news right about now. Speaking of good news, I'd like to welcome 2 new channel members, Jared Wilson and Chris Williams. Thanks for joining up to my channel. Appreciate it. Special thanks to all my patrons and channel members. And remember, together, we are the 6th color of magic.